Welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan. Obviously, the stock market warrants a response from me. For you guys that are actually new to the channel, my name is Ryan. This Independent Investor Channel has been here for a couple years. I sold my first car, for $3,000. I split the money, entered into the stock market to start my investment accounts. I'm currently managing an account worth over $300,000. I'm just an everyday, average working day fella who comes onto YouTube. I don't do this for a living, all right? And for you guys that are actually new to the channel, I just want to welcome everybody. I want to congratulate you for finding your way to the message. I think you'll find the perspective reassuring, all right? I tend to focus more on plan rather than the perfect stock to buy, all right? And if you guys have started to dabble in the catalog of videos that I've put through in the last couple years, I think you're going to find a very, very consistent theme in that the unique part about my message is that I self-direct my investment portfolio. I'm direct connected to all this volatility that we've lived through for the last couple months. And if there's anything that I've learned in my 25 years of experience in the stock market, don't bat an eye, all right? Never ever question why it is that you got invested in the stock market, all right? And tonight we're going to kind of go over what it can mean for you, how you can really take a retrospect and look back over the last couple months and just kind of really reflect on a day like today that saw the Dow Jones up over 1,000 points. It was a record up day for the Dow. We've never had a day like that in the history of the Dow, not from a percentage wise, but from a points basis. And we were really, really oversold in the market, obviously. The S&P went up over 100 points today. That's really quite amazing. For the total market, the S&P 500 up over 100, up over 5% today. Really kind of amazing and kind of a relief for a lot of investors who have got involved maybe in the last couple months, who really have been questioning why it is they've been investing in the stock market, man. And when it's as violent as it's been, and trust me, from my perspective, guys, I can't tell you anything other than the fact that the stock market has been just aggressive, all right? It's tested even the most seasoned investors. Analysts don't know what's going on. Analysts don't know why it is. But what we're going to try to do is just talk about what does it mean? What does it mean a day like this in the stock market when seemingly every single day has seen the stock market go down, down, down every day? And I know new investors, with every new day of it going down in the stock market, they definitely want to question why it is they're doing what they're doing. It can seemingly not make a whole lot of sense. So for you guys that are new to the channel, again, welcome. If you are viewing the channel for the first time, I would just encourage you guys to consider subscribing to the message. Hit the subscribe button, notification, and certainly leave your comments in the comments block at the beginning of this video, guys. What really does it mean, all right? And I hate to put a damper on a day like this because it's great to get some validation on the positive side being a long-term investor, all right? But I'm going to tell you that it doesn't mean a whole lot, all right? And my perspective of clarity on the stock market is such to continue to expect some volatility in the stock market. The U.S. stock market is expected to still remain strong, but the global stock market is really, a lot of different global economies are still slowing, all right? We can't just be the only economy in a world trade, all right? So on a day like this, what does it really mean? Well, it means that we didn't enter into a bear market. At least today, we fended it off for at least another day. And I had a lot of folks coming onto the channel and saying, Ryan, we're in a bear market. I had a lot of people coming onto the channel, Ryan, sell everything. Ryan, do this. Ryan, do that. Ryan, do this. One thing that's interesting is that I'm the one that actually puts out the content on the Independent Investor channel. And I very rarely ever, if ever, tell somebody what it is that they need to do with their own money, all right? What we tend to focus on is the psychological buildup to entering into the stock market with some scale, selecting the right amount of risk tolerance so you can put up with the stock market either up or down, all right? We try to prepare you the best way to select those investment assets that are going to best match what it is with your risk tolerance. But for the time being, the stock market got up to 19.8% on its losses, which does not meet the definition of a prolonged bear market. I said that before. It just so happens that I'm right. For those that came on the channel and said, yes, we are in a bear market, I beg to differ. We are in fact not, at least for another day. Can we? Sure. Anything is possible in the stock market. And one thing that we kind of talk about when we're asking about what does this mean is to kind of let you guys understand a little bit what the stock market is capable of doling out from day to day, all right? And again, just to come back to some of the beginning investors that have questioned why it is they're getting involved in the stock market, maybe questioning their level of exposure, questioning if they've put too much capital to work at the same time. And that's all good, all right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to take reflection on what it is that you've done, what it is maybe that you could have done different. All right, reflect on if you've lived through this volatility, give yourself a little bit of credit, all right? Because any new investor that's gone through this level of volatility, I don't care how much money you have in the stock market, there was no place to hide. And if you had capital at risk in the stock market right now, you saw that capital adjust back. What does it mean? I've said many times, an adjustment back on capital does not mean that you've lost any capital unless you panic and hit the sell button. And again, a lot of people coming on the channel, Ryan, you got to sell. Ryan, you got to do this. Ryan, we're in a bear market. Ryan, we're headed toward recession. And I leave that to a lot of the other YouTube channels to come on and talk about doom and gloom in 2019. I will not do that. What we will continue to do is generate the conversation surrounding what it is that involves in your plan, okay? That's the most important thing. So many people want to focus in on the stock, all right? I've had a lot of people come and hit the channel and say, look, Ryan, you've got so much money exposed to the stock market, you should be having stop losses on everything. I don't believe in stop losses. I don't enter into a position that I'm not willing to take into a downturn. And I've seen that pay off over and over and over again. A stop loss set at 10% loss basically just guarantees you a 10% loss in your positions if they dip below 10%. I'm not about that, okay? When you enter into a stock and it goes down, you just take it into a long position and you stick with it. And that's why we always recommend getting involved with stocks that are the best of the breed, all right? We're looking at the very best in the industry, all right? What do we do? What do we do? Really, you want to look back and say, okay, did I have some capital to deploy? Was I gun shy in doing so? No problem, all right? I did not deploy in this. I took the defensive strategy of just holding through this volatility. That's what I thought was the prudent move. What is it that we don't want to do? What we don't want to do when volatility is going on like that is to sell stock, okay? And I've had a lot of people that said, hey, they sold 2 months ago, and I'm the first one to congratulate you. You timed the market correctly. It's not something that I'm going to advocate for a new investor or really any investor at any time. It's not sound, prudent advice. And I tell you what, for those folks that wanted to come on and declare when the market was red every single day that they've sold the market, now you've really got your work cut out for you, all right? Now what do? If you missed out on today's 1,000-point swing, what do you do now? Do you get into the stock market now, only to subject it to a potential downturn tomorrow? All right? I held true. That was just my decision, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I chose to do. But for you guys that chose to time the market and avoid this catastrophic downturn, you missed a really good update today. See, now you've really got your work cut out for you and a decision to make. Do you get back into it? Do you stay on the sideline? All right, we could be in a prolonged sideways market for 2 years. Are you prepared to do that? All right, and these are some of the decisions that a market timer has to make. If you've been in and out of the stock market over the last couple months, I've just chosen to hold true, not sell. All right. What can we learn from something like this? Again, I really want you guys to always reflect on the risk tolerance that you've assigned to yourself, all right? Looking at a stock market like this, we can really understand how much worrying we did while the stock market was going down every day. Did you think about it when you were at work, or were you thinking about it when you lay down at night to go to sleep? Those are some things that you can kind of reflect on and say, wow, maybe I don't have quite the tolerance that I thought that I did. And you can adjust that back a little bit. You know, you can kind of filter some of that capital to cash instead of going right to the stock market. Another thing that you want to do is, I always say that the best lesson in the stock market is being a participant in the stock market. What I mean by that is I've got so many people that aren't investors on the sideline pointing fingers thinking that they know exactly what it is to do in the stock market, all right? Those folks need to be involved in the stock market to carry some level of credibility with me, all right? If you're not involved in the stock market, you're not learning as much as you need to by being an actual investor in the stock market. And those are the type of lessons that you want to reflect on and say, how can I become a better investor going forward, all right? I'm here to tell you guys, if you've went through this volatility, you're still here. All right, you are still here. And the best thing that you can do, really, what is 2 months of volatility? It's nothing in the short term. It's absolutely nothing when you look at it in the broad context. Now, it did provide some opportunity to buy. Yes. Are you a bad person for not taking advantage of it? Of course not. But it's worth looking back and saying, wow, you know, seemingly everybody on the news media was saying that it was going to go down, down, down every single day. And here we got our kind of validation for the bulls back again up over 1,000 points. Guys, thanks again for tuning into the Independent Investor channel. You want to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave your comments at the bottom, man. Response to the stock market today, up over 1,000 points, man. And as I always say, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and good luck in your investment future.